It began with a scream. Not the type of scream that came from a lizard dropping from the ceiling, or the one children shouted while playing. This one cut through the night like a knife. It was raw, it was deep, it was sorrow itself leaking from the soul. The scream came from Chief Ogbonna's compound. Villagers paused. Dogs whimpered. The wind stopped. The moon seemed to tuck itself behind the clouds. Oji Village was small, peaceful, and tightly knit. But now, something had broken the silence, and no one would forget that night. Lanterns were lit. Doors creaked open. Men grabbed cutlasses. Mothers whispered prayers. Boys climbed rooftops. Everyone looked toward Chief Ogbonna's house. Chief Ogbonna was once a man people pitied. Just 10 years ago, he was a regular man, a struggling father with no visible source of income. His wife, Mama Eddah, sold akara at the village square, and their only daughter, Edora, often stayed home from school for unpaid fees. Then suddenly, Chief Ogbonna changed. He became rich. Not just rich, powerful. A giant red-roofed mansion stood where his old two-room house used to be. 4 jeeps sat in his compound. He sponsored the local football team, paid for community streetlights, and even built a borehole that never ran dry. Nobody truly knew how he got his wealth. People whispered, political connections, contracts, or foreign investors, but no proof ever surfaced. And in Oji, nobody questioned success. Until that night. Edora was 17, beautiful in a quiet way, the kind of girl who helped elders sweep their compounds and never missed Sunday service. Slim, with calm eyes that held more kindness than confidence, she was deeply loved by her mother. Lately, Edora had changed. She stopped smiling. She stopped singing while helping her mother cook. She looked tired. Hollow. Like her body was here, but her spirit had gone somewhere else. Mama Eddah noticed it. She asked questions. Edora always shook her head. Then the dreams began. A dark man is standing at my door, Edora said one night. Mama Eddah, concerned, prayed over her. But the dreams worsened. I saw myself in a coffin, Edora whispered one morning. I was wearing white, and people were crying. Then, one morning, she screamed from her room. My pant is missing. She searched everywhere. Under her bed. In the laundry basket. In the corners of her wardrobe. She asked Mama Eddah, who frowned. Did you misplace it? Underwear doesn't grow wings. But Edora knew. Something was wrong. That evening, as she carried water to the backyard, she passed by the small hut her father called his ancestral shrine. She noticed the door slightly open. A candle flickered inside. Curious, she crept behind the plantain trees and waited. Then he appeared, Chief Ogbonna. He walked into the shrine with a black nylon bag. Edora watched, heart pounding. Her father knelt before a clay pot. The room was filled with cowries, feathers, red candles, and bones. From the nylon, he brought out something. Her missing pant. Adora's legs almost gave way. Chief Ogbonna poured red palm oil on the cloth. Then he brought out a small black feathered chicken. With one stroke, he slit its throat and let the blood spill into the pot. Then he chanted. The voice that came out of him was not his own. Edora could not understand the words. But they echoed like drums. The shrine grew colder. Then a voice replied. It was not her father's. Sacrifice accepted. Her soul is ours. Wealth shall grow. Betray us, and you die. Edora clapped her hand over her mouth and ran. Through the plantain grove, past the old well, straight to Nkem's house. She cried all night. By morning, she went home. Pale. Shaking. She told Mama Eddah everything. Mama Eddah listened in silence, tears rolling down her cheeks. She remembered things. The red cloth her husband once burned behind the hut. The time Edora woke up screaming with scratches on her arms. The strange marks she once found on her daughter's back. A mother always knows. That night, they planned to run. To leave the house, the village, everything. But the gods were watching. Edora stayed up, Bible clutched in her arms. She locked her room. But somehow, the door opened. Her father stood there. His face looked empty. Like a man who had lost everything, or one who had given up his soul. Edora, he whispered, I'm sorry. She backed away. Don't touch me. He took a step closer. I didn't want this. I begged them to take someone else. She screamed. That was the scream the villagers heard. Lanterns lit. Voices rose. Feet rushed to the compound. By the time they arrived, the house was locked. Chief Ogbonna stood at the front door in a white wrapper, his eyes blank. She's sleeping, he said. But no one believed him. The villagers pushed in. Adora's room was empty. They searched the house, the kitchen, the store, the garage. Then someone remembered the shrine. The backyard was quiet. The earth looked recently disturbed. A boy struck the soil with a shovel. Hollow. They dug. They found her. Adora's body, barely buried. Her hand still reaching upward. Her nails caked with soil. Her eyes, wide open. The village screamed. Mama Eddah collapsed. Chief Ogbonna tried to run through the back fence. They caught him. He confessed everything. The herbalist. The charm. The instruction. The virgin pant. The promise of wealth. I didn't mean to kill her, he cried. She was trying to run. I tried to stop her. She said I was not her father anymore. He strangled her in anger. And buried her before anyone could stop him. The elders tied him to the Iroco tree by the village square. He was to remain there until morning. To face judgment. But when the sun rose, he was gone. The ropes were still tight. No sign of escape. Just a pool of blood. And a note scrawled on the tree. We have taken what is ours. The village of Oji did not sleep the night Chief Ogbonna vanished. The Iroco tree, the ancient symbol of justice, stood in eerie silence. Where his body should have been, tied, shamed, awaiting judgment, there was nothing but a dark stain of blood and a message carved deep into the bark. We have taken what is ours. The villagers whispered among themselves. Some believed he had been taken by the gods of the underworld. Others swore they saw a black goat run into the forest that night, bleating like a man. Mama Eddah refused to leave her daughter's grave. She sat by it with swollen eyes and dry lips. Her wails echoed day and night. Neighbors brought food. She never touched it. Only water and silence kept her company. One morning, 3 days later, the village woke to find her gone too. Strange things began to happen in Oji. Children complained of seeing a girl with white eyes standing at the edge of the village well. Goats refused to eat. Chickens laid black eggs. Pregnant women miscarried. The river at Ubochi turned the color of palm oil for 3 days straight. People knew. Adeora's spirit had not rested. Elder Nwachukwu called a meeting. He was the oldest man in Oji, his back bent with time and his face like folded cloth. He smoked a pipe as he listened to the villagers scream about curses and hauntings. It is not just the girl, he said finally. It is the blood sacrifice. It has been accepted, and now, it will demand more. What can we do? A woman cried. There must be a cleansing. He instructed the youth to burn down the shrine behind Chief Ogbonna's house. Palm oil, salt, 7 kola nuts, and a cock with red feathers were sacrificed at the village square. But the nightmares only got worse. Far away, in Onitsha, A man with a heavy bag and a darker pass checked into a cheap hotel. Chief Ogbonna. He was alive, but barely. His eyes were sunken. He looked 20 years older. The spirits had not left him alone. They followed him in dreams. Edora stood by his bed each night, whispering, "Why, Papa?" He began to hear drums in his head. Even when there was silence around, the beat thumped in his skull. He went to a different herbalist in Nui, begging for cleansing. The man stared at him and refused. "Your hands are redder than blood. The earth rejects you. You are already dead." Chief Ogbonna left that night and tried to drown himself in the river Niger. But even the river rejected him. Fishermen found him on the shore the next morning, unconscious but alive. Foam in his mouth. Mud in his nose. A black pant wrapped tightly around his neck. Back in Oji, Mama Eddah reappeared. Naked. She walked into the village square one morning, her hair wild, her eyes white. She said nothing, only sat by the Iroco tree and began laughing. They tried to hold her. She beat one of the men and screamed. He buried her pant. He buried her pant. She was taken to the local church for deliverance, but she never spoke clearly again. Adora's classmates started disappearing. One by one, 3 girls went missing. Their clothes were found neatly folded by the village river. A single pant missing from each pair. Elder Mochuku summoned the village again. This is not just a curse. It is a ritual chain. Each soul taken fuels another man's greed. This must stop. They decided to go into the forest, where the old herbalist once lived. Maybe they could break the chain. The forest was thick with heat and silence. Palm trees groaned in the wind. Flies buzzed like whispers. They found the shrine. Abandoned. But not empty. On the walls were names. In blood. Edora. Nkem. Chisholm. Nena. 4 names. A 5th space remained blank. The villagers poured petrol and set the shrine on fire. But the flames turned blue. A face appeared in the smoke, Adora's face. And it wept. Then screamed. Then vanished. Back home, that night, a letter arrived at the village church. No one saw who dropped it. But it was addressed to Elder Nwachukwu. Inside. Forgive me. I buried her pant. I lost my soul for money. But they won't let me die. They said I must complete the cycle. Or suffer forever. Pray for me. Rain fell hard on the cracked red soil of Oji. It hadn't rained in weeks, yet that morning the heavens opened as if trying to wash away the sins of the land. Thunder cracked over the hills. Lightning flashed across the faces of villagers who now moved with urgency. Because the 5th girl, Ojeki, was missing. She had vanished the night before. Her sandals were found near the shrine's ashes. Her friends said she dreamt of a girl in white, beckoning her toward the forest. She was calling me too, another girl whispered, trembling. I felt cold hands touch my ankle last night. The village was unraveling. Fear gripped every household. Mothers hid their daughters. Fathers sharpened cutlasses and prayed. Elder Mochuku called for silence under the great tree and declared the truth. The ritual was never completed, he said. It still seeks its final soul. The blood chain must be broken. Far away, in Enugu, Chief Ogbonna wandered the streets like a ghost. He slept under bridges. His clothes were torn, his feet bruised. But he could still hear the drumming. Always the drumming. Every night, Edora came to him. Her hair floated like smoke. Her eyes stared into his soul. You started something, she said. And you will end it. He was cursed to live, not die. He tried poison. Fire. Jumping into traffic. Nothing worked. Then he met a beggar on the road who held his gaze and said, Go home. The earth waits. So he returned to Oji. On foot. Ragged. Hated. But he came with a bag. Inside it was the pant of the last girl. He knelt at the tree and wept. I buried my daughter's soul for money. But it didn't bring peace. It brought death. Let this end tonight. He dug with bare hands at the base of the Iroco tree. He placed the pant inside. Then he took the blade. One stroke. Blood soaked the roots. The wind roared. The skies darkened, then cleared. The air grew still. At that exact hour, Ojeki walked out of the forest. Alive. Confused. I don't know what happened, she said. I just woke up near the river. Her mother screamed with joy. The villagers ran to the tree. Chief Ogbonna's body lay still. A peaceful look on his face for the first time in years. The curse had ended. Or so they thought. That night, Mama Eddah came out of the church. Her hair was clean. Her eyes clear. She stood by her daughter's grave and whispered, "Rest now, Edora." From the grave, a soft breeze blew, sweet like flowers. A sign. Edora was gone. Truly gone. But a year later, in a town far away, another man desperate for wealth stood before a shrine. In his hand was a black nylon bag. Inside it, a young girl's pant. And somewhere in the wind, a drum began to beat.